Bandits block Zamfara highway, abduct travelers. Destruction trails aftermath of Maiduguri flooding as aid trickles in. Aviation workers plan protest September 18th, reject 50% revenue deduction. And on the international scene, millions in Southeast Asia battle floods, death toll surpasses 200. Good evening. Welcome to Trust TV News Hour. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Let's take a look at the details of tonight's stories, which we start with security. Armed bandits have blocked the ever-busy Gusau-Funtua highway, kidnapping specified number or unspecified number of travelers. Yusuf Zafe, a commuter, said the bandits stormed the highway in the early hours of Thursday and mounted a roadblock around the Tazame axis of the road. According to him, the bandits in their large numbers with about 50 motorcycles, each carrying 3 persons, abducted an unspecified number of travelers. Another commuter also said that Magazu-Kusheri Road, which is also the road linking Gusau to Funtua, were blocked by bandits this morning. In the meantime, three soldiers of the Nigerian Army and 4 personnel of the Nigerian Police Force have been killed while repelling bandits' attack on Zamfara Highway on Thursday. The State's Commissioner of Police, Muhammad Dalijan, said the bandits had planned to attack a construction company working along the highway. He said that joint security forces of the police and the army mobilized to the scene, but unfortunately the bandits laid ambush and opened fire on them. The police commissioner noted that the troops fought gallantly while repelling this attack. Now joining us from Zamfara is Daily Trust Regional Editor Yushau Adamu to give us an update on this situation. Good evening, Yushau.
Good evening, Sumaya.
So, a really sad development, happening there. What more can you tell us about these 2 attacks?
Well, like you have said, it is an unfortunate situation. Even though this is not the first time the bandits are attacking travelers along that road, but this attack obviously is considered to be worst. Because they have attacked the security personnel that are trying to protect lives and property of the people along that road. You know, anytime these bandits block or attack travelers, the same security personnel that are mobilizing themselves to rescue the travelers. Unfortunately, some of them were killed and several others were injured. So this is a terrible encounter, per se.
All right. I want to know the reaction of, the people in this location that this heinous act happened. What are the people saying? How are they, gearing up for in case if any of this situation happened, and how are they taking care of themselves in terms of fear?
Well, to be honest with you, people are becoming conversant with this kind of attack. A few weeks ago, there was an attack in Kucheri, whereas bandits opened fire on moving vehicles. That very day, when we are passing through the same road, we noticed that the residents were busy conducting their normal businesses because they are familiar with this kind of situation. It happens once, twice, 3 times and above. So this is something that they are becoming familiar with, even though they are in fear and panic, but they have no option than to adjust their life and live in that peace in their respective villages and towns.
It breaks our heart that this is happening for, residents to be okay with securities happening in their area. But the security agencies have said security is not for just them, but it should be an all-man business. What are the residents in that area, helping out when it comes to security matters, and how are they helping the security agencies?
Normally the only way they can help is to inform the security, because sometimes when these bandits are coming to a village or town, some other people used to call that particular, some people in that particular area, because they are moving and passing through villages and towns. So anytime maybe like the village A saw the bandits going to village B, they will call the people there and inform them. And the resident too will call the security personnel and inform them, because they used to give them their phone numbers, and they used to give to either district head or ward heads or any other government official their phone numbers, so that in case any time they saw or they heard about the coming of bandits, they can give a call to them so that they can get prepared.
So last 2 weeks, the Ministry of Defense made decision to move up and camp in Sokoto, that is basically close to Zamfara. And this attack just happened immediately after, this decision. Are you skeptical about this means, the hope that things were expected to change, but then this attack just came up? What is your take on this? It's what I want to know.
Sincerely speaking, the Minister of State for Defense spent only a day in Sokoto and left. But I have called some people in, especially some areas where these banditry activities are taking place, such as Kauran Namoda and Zurmi. But to be honest with you, they have confirmed that troops were deployed to that area. In fact, somebody that I spoke with him in Zurmi confirmed to me that enough of adequate soldiers were deployed to Zurmi, and they went there with so many equipments that can allow them to operate, even if there is any breakdown of their vehicles or what have you. So also Kauran Namoda, you remember this notorious bandit leader, Bello Turji, has placed a levy of 50 million. Later he reduced it to 30 million. There also troops were deployed to the area. In fact, the state government also supplied or deployed the security personnel of its outfits, that is Askarawa. They were also deployed to the area to protect people. As I'm talking to you, I spoke with somebody there this evening, and he was confirming that 3 out of the people that were abducted by Turji, they escaped from their captivity, and they returned to the village. And the residents promised that they will not pay that levy placed on them by Muhammad Turji.
It's about time. Thank you so much, Yushao, for that. Of course, subsequently, would reach out to hear more update.
Thank you so much.
Moving on, but still in security matters, in Katsina, bandits on Wednesday night attacked Kurfi General Hospital in Kurfi local government area of Katsina State, killing a watchman and abducting the wife of one of the health personnel manning the facility. The bandits, who came in their numbers, emerged from the cover of crops and forced themselves into the hospital after killing the gateman and went straight to the hospital's staff quarters. The hoodlums were aiming to abduct Mustafa Hamza, who is a health worker with Kurfi General Hospital, who luckily escaped, but unfortunately his wife was abducted in the process. Though there is no official statement from security agencies yet, the Kurfi Council Chairman Manir Shehu Wurma confirmed the attack, assuring that the council is on top of the situation. Though the Kurfi local government is one of the vulnerable areas in terms of insecurity in Katsina State, the town has enjoyed relative peace due to the well-coordinated efforts of residents through local vigilantes and other security operatives. Over 28 terrorists have been killed in strikes by the Nigerian Air Force in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. The NAF Deputy Director of Public Relations and Information Group Captain Kabiru Ali disclosed this in a statement on Thursday. He said the operation was carried out by the air component of Operation Wellpunch on Wednesday, September 11th. According to him, the successful operation underscores the Nigerian Air Force's commitment to protecting the nation and supporting sister services and other security agencies in combating banditry, terrorism, insurgency, and other forms of criminality. The Air Force also assured Nigerians that it would continue to conduct air operations both independently and in collaboration with surface forces to eliminate all threats to the peace, prosperity, and security of our great nation. In Rivers State, the police command on Thursday paraded a fake inspector of police, Fred Monday, who operated an armed robbery syndicate in Rivers, Delta, Edo, and Akwa Ibom states. Parading the suspect before journalists at the State Police Command, Rivers State Commissioner of Police Olatunji Disu said while carrying out the arrest of 5 suspected cultists, the police encountered a man with them fully dressed in police camouflage and donning the rank of an inspector of police. Disu said the suspect was armed with an AK-47 rifle, 10 magazines, and 29 rounds of live ammunition. He said when taken into custody and after interrogation, the identity of the suspect was revealed as Fred Monday, a 31-year-old from Wiakara community in Kana local government area of Rivers State and resident at F. Man Close, Eneka Link Road, Port Harcourt.
We call the assassination of the then Community Development Council chairman, the chairman of Boshimini, Chief Indidi Livingstone, which happened on the 13th January 2024 in front of his church, the Peculiar Faith Ministry at Rumememe. In that operation, 4 men stormed the church, dragged the victim out, and shot him severally with AK-47 rifle in the presence of his wife, his son, and members of the church, who scampered for safety. The cold-blooded murder was carried out in broad daylight and was captured on video that sparked outrage. We directed a team of operatives of the Intelligence Response Team and special team from the Rivers State Police Command to start a nationwide manhunt for the killers.
To flood incidents, lack of access to location has worsened the safety of thousands of victims of flood in Borno State capital, Maiduguri. The disaster has left many areas submerged and residents in critical need of assistance. The state government, NEMA, Yobe, SEMA, and military rescue operations supported by the armed forces have successfully evacuated some trapped victims to safer locations, with the water levels beginning to recede, with locations like Customs Flyover and Monday Market being cleared as of early Thursday morning. Residents have been urged to exercise caution. Lagos Bridge, Gwenge, and 40 bridges are feared to be at risk of partial collapse, according to on-site reports.
Let us thank God Almighty for sparing some of us, and of course for testing some of us. For people that are from Lagos Road Junction up to Tashambama, up to University, I think they are a little bit safe for now, because the flood stops from Lagos Street down. It's affecting Gwenge area, teaching hospital area, down to custom area, down to 545.
The Managing Director of Northeast Development Commission, NEDC, has said it has already begun distribution of palliatives to affected flood victims in Borno. He made this known as the press conference in Maiduguri. The commission said it's reaching out to the 18 senatorial districts of Northeast states impacted by the disaster. The Managing Director of NEDC, Muhammad Al-Ghali, disclosed that the Commission has already begun reconstruction of bridges in Taraba, Yobe, Bauchi, and Adamawa State that were destroyed by flood. He revealed that 200,000 bags of rice, 50,000 cartons of cooking oil, 200,000 blankets, and others will be given to the flood victims.
We're also going to release our 50,000 pieces of for women, another pieces, 50,000 pieces, so that they can be able to recoup. Children wears, we have about 65,000 pieces. And because it's rainy season, we're also going to release about 20,000 pieces of treated mosquito nets. Make these people go back to their own residences across the northeast, either by building or reconstructing or rehabilitating their own old houses. And this can be done in collaboration with all the agencies of the federal government, the state government, so that there could be, all of us should be at least in the same book, not on the same page, which is very difficult. At least we have something to go together, and all of us are going to put as a team to see what can be done to assist these vulnerable people.
Governor Ahmadu Umaru Fintiri of Adamawa State has donated 50 million naira and 6 speedboats to support victims of the recent flooding in Borno State. This was contained in a statement made available to newsmen by the governor's chief press secretary, Homwashi Wonosiku, on Thursday. According to the statement, Governor Fintiri, who was in Maiduguri, presented the donation to Governor Babagana Umara Zulum, emphasizing the need for collective support to alleviate the suffering of affected communities. Expressing regret over the loss of lives and property, Governor Fintiri urged the federal government to take swift action to address the situation. In a show of solidarity, Governor Fintiri, alongside Governors Zulum and Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State, embarked on a boat ride to assess the damage and sympathize with displaced persons in the state. In the aftermath of floods occasioned by a heavy downpour last week Friday at Angwan Haikimi Orozo in Amak, the FCT Emergency Management Department, FEMD, has carried out a post-assessment and profiling of affected households in the area. According to the FEMD team, the floods claimed 1 life, injured 1 person, and destroyed over 10 houses and some farmlands. The team attributes the heavy floods in the area to a narrow culvert in the area and poor drainage systems. In a statement in Abuja, the AG, Director General of FEMD, Abdul Rahman Mohammed, has directed that the Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, the AEDC, be communicated to reconstruct the base of the electricity pole destroyed by the floods and restore power to the area. Mohammed has also directed that the Satellite Towns Development Department, STDD, be communicated immediately to expand the narrow culvert to ensure free flow of water. In a related development, the FEMD is carrying out a post-assessment of farmlands destroyed by floods last week Friday at Yaba in Abaji Area Council. The FEMD boss, who noted that the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency, NISA, has warned of heavy floods in the coming weeks, appealed to residents living along the riverbanks to relocate. 17 of the 18 political parties contesting the September 21st Edo governorship election have signed a peace accord ahead of the election. The PDP chairman, Anthony Aziegbemi, and its candidate, Asu Igodalo, who were present during the signing of a peace accord, declined to sign. Aziegbemi told newsmen that they were declining because 10 members of the party were currently being detained by the police in Abuja. The signing of the peace accord is coming barely 9 days before the governorship election in the state. In his welcome remarks, the chairman of the National Peace Committee, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired, said the ceremony was a commitment to uphold the peace, unity, and democratic values of the nation. Also speaking, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, has promised a level playing field for all political parties and their candidates participating in the September 21st governorship election in Edo State.
So we stand on the gateway of yet another critical election in Edo State. We urge all political actors and stakeholders to commit themselves to the cause of peace in Edo State. The signing of this peace accord signifies your readiness to place the interests of the people which you want to serve above individual or party ambitions.
For us in INEC, at the election management body, I want to assure political parties and candidates that we'll continue to play our part according to the law and best practice as articulated in the clauses of the National Peace Accord that we are about to commit ourselves to.
Recognize the importance of this movement and the trust placed on us to protect the integrity of this election. We will remain impartial, professional, and vigilant while providing a level playing ground for all the political parties and their candidates. I urge all stakeholders to embrace peace, tolerance, and respect for the democratic.
15th of July 2024, a particular party, unleashed on the citizens of Edo State is lions and tigers. And we have proof for that. This is not PDP's making. These are the people that we are the airport that day. And their names and faces are all here. As we speak, fellow Nigerians, none of these people have been invited for questioning. None have been arrested. No, not one single one.
Aviation Workers Union on Thursday announced plans to stage a peaceful protest on September 18th, 2024 over the 50% revenue deduction from agencies in the sector. The General Secretary of the National Union of Air Transport Employees, Ocheme Abba, and the Deputy General Secretary of the Air Transport Services Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Francis Akinjole, disclosed this in a statement. Other unions that signed the statement include the Secretary General of ANAP, Abdul Rasak, the General Secretary of the National Association of Aircraft Pilots and Engineers, Olayinka Abioye, and the General Secretary of the Amalgamated Union of Public Cooperation, Civil Service, Technical and Recreational Services Employees, Sikiru Waid. They blamed the decision on the refusal of the federal government to assent to their call for their reversal of the 50% deduction policy from the internally generated revenues of agencies in the aviation sector. According to the statement, the protest is as a result of the union's demand for the discontinuation of the deduction from the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, and the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau. The TSA policy initially introduced with a 25% deduction from revenue-generating agencies of the federal government in October 2022, escalated to 40% shortly after. But the current administration has increased the deductions to 50% in January 2024. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, on Thursday told the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos that no one had come forward to lay claim to the $2.45 million linked to the embattled former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the CBN, Godwin Emefiele. The Commission's lawyer, Rotimi Oyedepo, SAN, stated this before Justice Deinde Isaac Dikpeolu during proceedings seeking the permanent forfeiture of the money and 7 landed properties and shares the EFCC believes the banker acquired through proxies. During proceedings on August 15, 2024, the court ordered the interim forfeiture of the sum and property following an application filed and moved by Oyedepo, who led Chineye C. Okezie and Zinat Atikubala in the suit. It also directed the EFCC to publish the interim forfeiture order in the national newspaper, which could be The Nation, Punch, and The Guardian, to enable anyone interested in the properties to appear before the court and show cause within 14 days, while the final order of forfeiture of the said property should not be made in favor of the federal government. The ruling followed the EFCC's assertion via an ex parte application that the money and other items sought to be forfeited were reasonably suspected to be proceeds of unlawful activities. Moving on to more stories, an early morning accident along the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway on Thursday killed 21 travelers around the Gidang Abe community in Kagarko local government area of Kaduna State. The accident involved a trailer truck and a passenger bomber bus heading to Kano and Bazari town in Katsina State respectively. An official of the Federal Road Safety Corps who participated in the rescue operation said the incident happened at about 3 a.m., adding that 3 passengers who survived the accident were rushed to the Umaru Musa Memorial Hospital in Sabon Wuse town, while the remains of the dead were deposited at the hospital's morgue. He noted that the accident took place close to a route diversion, which forced all motorists from the opposite directions to drive on a single lane. It was gathered that the driver of the articulated vehicle had fled the scene, leaving behind his vehicle along with another container truck blocking the ever-busy way. The divisional police officer in charge of Tafa Division, SP Idris Ibrahim, confirmed the incident. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara said his administration has achieved formidable successes against the oil theft and bunkering in the state. The governor expressed delight that the success will be sustained given the commendable interest shown by the presidency in constituting the Niger Delta Monitoring Team tasked with the mandate to curb oil theft and illegal refining of crude oil in the entire region. The report.
Governor Fubara spoke when he received the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, who led a delegation of the Joint Federal Government Team on Security of National Assets on courtesy visit to the Government House in Port Harcourt. The governor said the saboteurs are not only attempting to disrupt the course of delivery of critical projects and good governance, but extended it to create disaffection within the thriving business in the state.
I can say here boldly that before this time, we've had a very wonderful working relationship with the service commanders here. And in Rivers State, we have done so much in the aspect of combating the activities of illegal bunkering and pipeline vandalization. And you can imagine what has just happened now when the federal government is now being part through the defense headquarters to complement what we're doing. I can assure you that it's going to be a total success.
Governor Fubara stated that his confidence is in the caliber of members of the team and how professional the Chief of Defense Staff has conducted their operations. He also explained the drastic decision that has been taken to curb incidences of piracy at some sea routes in the state.
The waterways around Bonny is their track now. Kidnapping of innocent people coming from Bonny to Port Harcourt, or some of them going from Port Harcourt to Bonny. And as we're talking now, we've already started something. Myself and the Office of the Secretary of the State Government have already directed them to acquire 6 gunboats so we can hand over some of them to the Navy so they can cover some areas of interest.
In his speech, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said his visit is twofold. First is to assess the level of implementation of their directives towards achieving the mandate of Mr. President in securing the oil-producing areas, ensuring that crude oil production increases.
We have observed over time that there are gaps in the activities being ongoing, and for us to be able to achieve the mandate of the Commander-in-Chief and President of Nigeria, we have to do things differently. And firstly, what we did was that the Operation Delta Safe, we made sure that all the security forces and other agencies are working together under the Joint Task Force. They have their component commanders and their personnel, and whatever it is that's been done, we're doing it together in unison. We understand that that synergy is very critical to our success, and that's the first thing we did.
The Chief of Defense Staff also expressed appreciation to Governor Fubara for creating an enabling environment with his sterling leadership style.
On health matter, the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria has shut down 666 illegal medicine shops in Kaduna State for operating illegally and violating national drug distribution guidelines. The enforcement exercise, which began earlier in the week, targeted open drug markets and other locations across the state where medicines were being sold without proper registration and supervision. The move aims to ensure the safe and effective distribution of medicines, protect public health, and prevent the sale of harmful substances in the state. Addressing the press conference after the end of the exercise in Kaduna on Thursday, PCN Director of Enforcement Stephen Esubomi said the affected premises included 47 pharmacies, 313 patent medicine shops, and 306 illegal medicine shops. Esumobi noted that the PCN team visited 895 premises during the exercise, issuing 9 compliance directives to owners of shops found to be operating illegally. Beneficiaries of the federal government student loan scheme across the country have lamented the delay in the payment of the August monthly stipend. Some of the students in separate interviews expressed their disappointment with the payment delay. Reports say all students can choose to apply for upkeep loans apart from the institutional loans, which are paid directly to institutions. A total of 20,371 students from 6 tertiary institutions were said to have been paid a sum of 20,000 naira each as July stipends. The institutions said to have benefited from the disbursement are Bayero University, Kano State, Federal University Dutse-Ma, Katsina State, University of Ilorin, Kwara State, University of Benin, Edo State, University of Ibadan, Oyo State, and University of Maiduguri, Borno State. Meanwhile, the National Association of Nigerian Students has called on the federal government to increase the monthly stipend from 20,000 naira to 40,000 naira. The recent hike in fuel prices across the nation has sparked widespread concerns among businesses, particularly the transportation sector. Commercial drivers and commuters expressed their deep frustration over the price hike as they call on the government to match words with actions and bring relief to the masses. Victoria Tokolo has a situation report as presented from our studio.
Nigerians are decrying the impact of the unresolved fuel crisis in the country, which has caused massive inflation, making everyday life difficult. The situation is particularly challenging for those who rely heavily on fuel for their businesses, especially transport business owners who are finding it increasingly difficult to manage the rising costs. Speaking to Trust TV News, commercial drivers aired their concerns about the fuel price hike and its ripple effects on public transportation.
We are buying it 270 before this man entered tinubu and co, what is called him. So the thing affected us a lot. We used to carry, how much we carry passenger before they don't understand. If you want to carry passenger, let us say, and they don't increase their salary, all those stuff. And there's not what we want to do is we go take you like this and see we take you since morning. This thing you don't really move. People don't enter. We call it. We are taking this passenger from first gate to high gate. We are taking it 200 and before normal price. But now we are taking it 300. And if passenger come, they want to enter. They go to say they don't go enter. So we take you since morning.
It does negatively. It used to cost about 4,500 to fill up the tank before now. But after the increment, we spend about 8,000. And the worst part of it is that people's salaries are not increased. So, you know, the little money we added because of the increment, people are finding it difficult to pay.
The matter for the fuel, it don't tie everybody. Before, when we dey work, we fuel dey normal. If we just buy like fuel 17, at least go carry 50 naira, 100 naira. Everybody dey happy, things dey go well. But as the thing just enter, see something, the price affects the keke. So people need to increase their tea fare. And people when they sell, when they carry, they need to increase the fare because for them to meet up their target. But some people now they pay 5,000 then for a daily job where they carry keke. Now this thing don't come go up to see and buy na wahala.
Nigerians have been bearing the brunt of the current economic downturn, which has seen record inflation across many sectors. Many are calling for urgent action to resolve the economic predicament and restore stability to the petroleum product. Commuters in particular also expressed their deep frustration, lamenting the government's perceived inability to provide succor for citizens.
Found it difficult to feed. Everything is expensive. Transportation, feeding, anything you buy today, if you go back tomorrow, it's not the same price again. Government, no salary, no increment in salary. And we are paying more. Everything is high.
What government did today, in fact, I don't know which word I can use to qualify it. Government doesn't value that as people, that's commoner in Nigerians, because they think only their pockets. How do you go and increase fuel without thinking about the commoner in Nigerians? So the fuel increase is affect total everything in Nigeria. When you talk about education, you increase education, you increase NEPA, you increase everything. Then what are we used to survive?
The current situation in the country demands urgent attention from the government at both federal and state levels to mitigate the effects of the petrol price hike and address the underlying inflation crisis.
327 of the Criminal Code and 231 of the Penal Code Act in Nigeria states that any person who attempts to kill himself is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 1 year, a fine, or even both. Experts say that the criminalization of suicide in Nigeria has had significant implications on mental health care and prevention efforts, compounding issues such as stigmatization of individuals who attempt suicide. On the occasion of the World Suicide Prevention Day, Trust TV's Saiger Ibrahim examines how the law criminalizing attempted suicide, coupled with the current state of the nation, may be pushing more Nigerians to the brink. Take a look.
Statistics on suicide in Nigeria paint a concerning picture. The rate of attempted and completed suicides is alarmingly high, particularly in a country with limited mental health resources and diminishing purchasing power among citizens. The World Health Organization reports that over 720,000 people worldwide die by suicide each year, and for every life lost, many more attempt to end their own. The report also indicates that in Nigeria, the suicide rate stands at 6.9 per 100,000 people, a figure that underscores the urgent need for effective prevention strategies. More worrisome is the criminalization of suicide in Nigeria, according to Section 327 of the Constitution, a section which was inherited from colonial laws.
Even in England now, it's in the UK, it's no longer criminalized. They had to change and repeal that law. But for some reason, some of these countries that adopted those laws are still hanging on. Then Nigeria is one of those countries. When you attempt suicide, what the law is basically saying is you have to succeed and die, because if you don't, you're now a criminal who would be charged, arrested, charged to court, and you could get sentenced to up to 1 year jail term.
If I get to stress myself and my immune system gets weakened and I have to go to the hospital, why should you not say that I caused myself that, so I should go to prison for a year? So if that is not a crime, how is suicide or attempted suicide supposed to be a crime?
A legal expert explains that the provisions criminalizing suicide attempts contradict the provision of the right to human dignity as captured in Section 34 of the Constitution.
As well as the right to life and health, our laws promise us that our lives and our health will be protected and provided for. And so when someone with a mental health issue is saying they need help, criminalizing that would be a direct, violation of that right, because we've been promised the right to life and the right to health.
The experts then raised an alarm over a possible increase in cases of depression and suicide due to the current economic downturn.
When people feel like they cannot provide for their basic needs like food, shelter, basic things that were easily accessible to them, it can lead to that feeling of hopelessness where they see suicide as the only way out.
Difficulty increases hopelessness in people. All right. And hopelessness is the reason why a lot of people die by suicide. So if difficulty has been increased, then we should expect a lot of a higher percentage or proportion in the people that will end their own life, that will take their own life through suicide.
They emphasized the need for greater mental health awareness in Nigeria to prevent the culture of silence and stigma surrounding mental health challenges. The National Assembly earlier in 2024 formed committees in both chambers to review and amend Nigeria's constitution. Stakeholders on the occasion of the World Suicide Prevention Day are highlighting laws such as the one criminalizing attempted suicide as examples of outdated provisions that should be removed from the constitution. Sagir Ibrahim, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Wetland, one of Nigeria's largest carbon sinks and a major sanctuary for wildlife, has officially been transformed into a national park by the federal government. The Conservator General of the National Park Services, Ibrahim Musa Goni, represented the federal government at a ceremony in Jigawa State Government House in Dutse, where the formal takeover was performed. The report.
The development stems from the 16th National Council on Environment held in Kaduna in 2011, where a resolution was passed to upgrade selected forests and game reserves across Nigeria into national parks. Abuja Wetland, part of the Baturia Game Reserve, was among those identified for this transition. Governor Umar Namadi highlighted the wetland's ecological importance, emphasizing its role as a habitat for a diverse range of plants and animals and its status as a key site for resident and migratory water birds, which has earned it recognition as an international bird sanctuary.
We are all very pleased that we have finally arrived at the highest point of this process. Once again, on behalf of myself, the government and people of Jigawa State, as well as the teeming population around Abuja Wetland Game Reserve, we are sincerely grateful to the National Park Service and the Conservator General, Dr. Ibrahim Musa Bani, and other officials of the service for all their effort which culminated into today's handing over of the wetland, which, as I said, is now converted into national park.
Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Environment, Goni noted that the Hadejia Game Reserve maintains a delicate ecological balance that sustains life and delivers essential ecosystem services. He stressed that its transformation into a national park will bring significant environmental, economic, and security benefits to the local communities, the state, and the nation at large.
Hadejia Wetland Game Reserve holds a delicate balance that sustains life and provides crucial ecosystem services. It serves as a sanctuary for numerous wildlife species, including birds, amphibians, and fishes, and also safeguards biodiversity. The park will undoubtedly become an ecotourism hotspot, attracting visitors from far and wide. This presents an excellent opportunity to showcase the natural beauty and cultural diversity of the Nigerian landscape while generating economic opportunities for local communities.
The Hadejia Wetland, previously known as Dajun Baturia, is the first of 10 game reserves across the country to be taken over by the federal government in line with the 2011 National Council on Environment resolution.
It's time to join Yusuf Akogu for Business News Update.
Welcome to Business News. I am Yusuf Akogu. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) says Nigeria's total merchandise trade was 31.89 billion naira in the second quarter of 2024. This is according to the NBS Foreign Trade in Goods Statistics report for second quarter released on Thursday in Abuja. The NBS said the figure represents a decrease of 3.76% over the value recorded in Q1 2024 and an increase of 150.39% compared to the value recorded in Q2 2023. The report said total exports stood at 19.418 billion naira, accounting for 60.89% of total trade, while total imports stood at 12.473 billion naira. The report said total exports increased by 1.31% compared to the amount recorded in the first quarter of 2024 at 19.167 billion naira. The report, however, said total import decreased by 10.71% compared to the value recorded in the first quarter of 2024 at 13.970 billion naira. Against the backdrop of sustained economic turbulence, a total of 14,179 retirement savings account holders who lost their jobs this year have withdrawn 25% of their pension savings to sustain themselves and their families in the first half of 2024. According to the second quarter report released by the National Pension Commission (PENCOM), the RSA holders withdrew 23.4 billion naira during the period. The second quarter report indicates slower withdrawal as a total of 5,528 RSA account holders withdrew 9.2 billion naira in Q2 2024 as against 8,651 RSA holders that withdrew 14.2 billion naira in the first quarter of 2024. On residential mortgage financing, the report stated that a total of 1,390 RSA holders requested to access up to 25% of their RSA balances towards payment of equity contributions for residential mortgage during the quarter under review. According to PENCOM, approvals were granted to 1,234 requests amounting to 10.5 billion naira, while 156 were rejected due to incorrect documentations. NGX closed Thursday trading in green as banking equities record gains. Let's see how it went down today. FBNH, First Bank of Nigeria, leading the gain as they gained 10% to close at 26 naira and 40 kobo per share. Cavity Helicopter also up there, 10% it gained to close at 2 naira and 31 kobo per share. Of course, Flour Mills of Nigerian PLC, 9.99% to close at 49 naira and 55 kobo per share there. Of course, this has pushed up the market up by 0.32%. Volume of trade 383.2 million. Volume of shares there valued at 7.55 billion naira in a list of 9,457 lead exchanges among investors today. Of course, the top trading equities by volume leading that table is Access Corporation trading 80.05 million shares, FBNH 51.98 million shares, of course UBA 31.11 million shares. The banking sector affair, you will see. Of course, some equities ended on the losing side of the market. Sovereign Insurance lead that table 8.96% it lost to close at 61 kobo per share. Of course, Dacom 8.86% downward to close at 72 kobo per share. The internal oil also down 8.14% to close at 32 naira and 15 kobo per share there. And that's the highlight of stock trading as it went down this Thursday on the floor of NGS. Let's see the global stock market and exchange rate data for today. China's crude oil imports staged a rebound in August, rising to the highest in a year, but the increase is largely due to earlier lower prices rather than any recovery in consumption. And the London market, Brent crude sells for $71 per barrel. For the oil basket, price drops to $71 per barrel. And that's business. I am Yusuf Akogu.
Thank you, Yusuf Akogu, for that update. Now, from the international scene, millions of people across Southeast Asia struggled on Thursday with flooded homes, power cuts, and wrecked infrastructure after the typhoon Yagi swept through the region as the death toll passed 200. In worst hit Vietnam, the fatalities rose to 197, with 9 confirmed dead in northern Thailand, where one district is suffering its worst floods in 80 years. Myanmar's National Fire Service confirmed the country's first Yagi-related deaths after 17 bodies were recovered from flooded villages in the Mandalay region, while more than 50,000 people have been forced from their homes. Yagi brought a colossal deluge of rain that has inundated a swath of northern Vietnam, Laos, Thailand, and Myanmar, triggering deadly landslide and widespread river flooding. One farmer on the edge of Hanoi told AFP that his entire 1,800 square meter peach blossom plantation was submerged, destroying all 400 of his trees. And now let's join Adenia Jishafe for Sports News Update.
The Honorable Minister of Sport Development, Senator John Owa-Eno, has declared open the 8th edition of the National Youth Games at Stephen Keshi Stadium in Asaba, Delta State. The colorful opening ceremony saw contingents from the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory FCT participating in a march past with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, represented by the Minister of Sport Development, John Owa-Eno, as special guest of honor. While declaring the 8th NYG open, President Tinubu said that the Games is devoted to talent hunting, focusing on grassroots sport development to boost the sports sector as the Youth Games continue as a nurturing ground for sport. Impressed with the opening ceremony of the 8th edition compared to the 7th in 2023, Eno thanked Delta State government for being excellent hosts of the National Youth Games. The minister urged athletes, officials and the sport ministry to give proper attention to the Youth Games, while noting that the aim of the game is to discover talent and nurture them for future competitions. Delta State Governor Right Honorable Sheriff Oborowere appreciate the Federal Ministry of Sport Development for continuously organizing the NYG, appealing to the Federal Ministry of Sport Development to revert to the initial age of under 17 for the National Youth Games. Oborowere welcomed over 6,000 athletes and 1,000 officials to Asaba, urging them to enjoy the hospitality of the oil state. Athletes from the 36 states and the FCT will compete in 36 sporting events, while the Games ends on the 19th of September 2024. Meanwhile, the first medalist of the 8th National Youth Games also emerged in weightlifting as Esther Chijoke of Edo State lifted 56 kg in snatch, 75 kg in clean and jerk in the 45 kg female category to win the first gold medal at the Youth Games. Host Delta State are the defending champion of the National Youth Games. And in football, few hours of the crucial round of 16 game between Falconers and Japan, FIFA has announced the officials for the game. The football governing body announced Americans Natalie Simon as the center referee, Megan Mullen and Carly Smith will serve as assistant referee 1 and 2, while Anahi Fernandez will work as the fourth official. The game is slated for the early hours of Friday in Bogota, Colombia. Nigeria reached the quarterfinal, finishing second behind Germany with 2 wins in 3 games. Japan, on their part, won all their 3 group games to finish top with maximum 9 points. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we wrap up Trust TV News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you so much for watching. Good evening.